Experts, including Dr. Dhruv Chaudhary, who's joining us on the broadcast today, shows that wearing a double mask, a surgical mask and a cloth mask together prevents COVID-19 infection by 85 to 88%. He's now urging people to wear two masks to prevent infection. They say double masking prevents COVID-19 infection by 85 to 88%, doctor. And you have advocated for it as well. You are also a nodal officer in Haryana from the PGIMS Rohtak. Doctor, your first comments on why is it necessary to wear double masks?
You see, good morning. Thank you very much for me having on your show. I think it is very important. If you really ask me, I have been as a past president of Indian Society of Critical Care Medicine. We led a movement also, and also in the state, is the jab and cap. Now the jab already you have discussed, they are there. And COVID appropriate behavior, the single important thing which makes difference is that you wear the mask. And why we are emphasizing on the mask? Because today we know very clearly that this disease spreads airborne. That means when you speak, when you laugh, when you eat, open it up together in a closed area, without even realizing us, it spreads. And we realize that we have taken everything, we have done everything else. That's why you're seeing a very high secondary attack rates and practically whole families are being infected. So the only way which now evidence is, documentation is, that the people who are sitting together when they wear masks, you can decrease the spread by nearly 88 to 90%. How you do it? We are wearing masks. Now, what we are seeing today is that large number of people, instead of surgical mask, are wearing the cloth mask. Now, the basic criteria means is that if you see it in the light, it should not be visible, not the simple surgical cotton mask which we used to do. So when you use the surgical mask along with the combination of this cotton mask, it provides you double layer. And when they become wet, they need to be changed. That's why the recommendation is about 6 to 8 hours. So when you wear these two masks, you make comfortable, it breathes easy, and the probability of your spreading infection by coughing, that reduces. And similarly, the other person who is wearing in front of you, if they are also wearing two masks properly, then they also do not get the infection. So two things are happening. So when you are wearing, both of you should have a mask. But when you do a double mask, single surgical mask can spray without getting wet, can up to 75 to 80. So when you combine two together, it is as good as having, if I say so, it is a common man's N95.
Right, doctor, there are many misconceptions on the use of N95 masks versus the use of double mask, as you rightly pointed out, use of a surgical mask and a cloth mask. Could you also throw some light on that?
You see, if you really see, I gave that example very classically when the Prince Philip's funeral happened. If you see, the Queen was wearing it. If you, the president of POCUS, that is what, if you really look at it, he is wearing it. And now the CDC has come up with their guidelines where they are recommending the double mask to prevent the spread, and more so the younger people. The idea is that it gives you two-layer protection, and if something gets wet and you are not able to throw it out or change it up, so that is one part. Here, the surgical mask has to be worn inside, and the cotton mask to be worn outside. So that is how we do it. So it's a two-layer protection. Surgical mask is a three-layer mask where two layers are there in between a small molten material layer. As far as the N95 is concerned, and also in the European, the same standards are called as FFP2, phase particulate 2. Now it provides you protection up to 90 to 95, up to 95%. So there you do not need to wear it, but that we want to preserve primarily for the people who are working in intensive care units in the hospital settings. So we are trying to, saying by double mask, can we go nearly to the same amount of efficiency which we are providing with an N95? And secondly, it also reduces it can be reused the face mask up to, cotton mask up to 30 times or so, depending upon the manufacturer. So probably it is more comfortable for us. Plus, simultaneously, we also are able to provide a good protection. And obviously, the cotton mask is reusable, but surgical mask which you use is a single time use. If it gets soiled, spoiled, wet, it needs to be changed with the proper disposal.
Right, doctor, very informative. The CDC in the United States has also come out with a recent statement talking about, people should not wear masks if they are fully vaccinated. They've cleared the air on this. Should we also be looking in that front as well? Because come May 1st, the vaccination drive will be open to all adults. And many people are asking, should we continue wearing masks if we are fully vaccinated and if we receive the second dose?
You see, if you see the CDC, it's full of ifs and buts. Because what they are saying is that in all the group in which you are fully vaccinated, 2 weeks post-vaccination, because their primary vaccination has been either Moderna or Pfizer, that is the messenger RNA virus vaccines. Only then you are in a closed society, this thing, then you do it. And similarly, they are still recommending there that preferable is to have a mask, but if those who are vaccinated. If you are not vaccinated, it is good that you wear it, but yes, a social distancing has to be kept. So when you read those CDC, they are trying to put the social, cultural, and economic life back into it. But the caveat there is that the people whom you are sitting already must have ideally be vaccinated. Now let's come down to India. Now I will recommend straight away, don't wear a mask only and only if we are having a sterilizing immunity with the vaccine. None of the vaccine is providing a sterilizing immunity. It simply means is it cannot prevent infection. What it prevents is the disease, because you need certain different type of immunoglobulin in your nasal or oral mucosa or the respiratory mucosa, which is immunoglobulin A. What we are getting after vaccination is immunoglobulin G. So what they do is that they reduce the impact of the infection and it prevents it becoming a disease. Now there is a two different thing, getting infection and getting disease from the infection. So that is one thing they do. They do allow disease not to take place. And if it happens, it is a milder disease. And that is what we have seen in Covaxin trial in India, that people have got 78% efficacy, but 22% who have got the vaccine, but they have the mild disease. Like I got a Covaxin, I had an infection, but I had a very minimal disease. Now I'm joining back. So that is the reason. So we will not still recommend. And you become safe after 2 weeks of vaccination. In Covishield, we are giving 6 to 8 weeks period. It's only 2 weeks after Covishield you will say you are fully immunized. So please continue to follow COVID appropriate behavior. And that is what we are saying. Jab and CAB are the two things which are going to be our savior. So jab, government is going after it. CAB, you need to do it. But don't think that jab, once you have taken for next 6 to 8 weeks, you are just safe moving around. We are seeing a lot of cases where these vaccination centers are becoming the hub. So please, my request is when you go, follow every single word which has been told by you previously and also by the government and also by the social media.
Dr. Dhruv Chaudhary, thank you for joining us on the broadcast. Certainly, we all have to adhere to COVID-appropriate behavior and also wear double masks at this point of time as India battles the second wave of COVID-19. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure.